Okay, we're back. X Squared Radio. I'm going to talk a little bit more for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to bring Suzanne Ross on. She's going to be my guest host tonight. She is the organizer of the Beyond the Matrix Unity event, which is going to take place the 19th and 20th of this month in Sedona, Arizona. Easy enough for you to become part of it. You can go to xsquaredradio.com, click on the events button on the left-hand side and register and come see us. If you don't want to come, can't afford the air travel, can't afford the hotel, the meals, the car, yeah, I get it, believe me. Guess what we have for you? You can watch the entire 2-day event at home, live. You can participate with us. $77 for the whole thing. Very affordable. Best speakers on the planet. Yes. And we want you to be part of it. So I want to finish this up because the notion that our rulers are insane has slipped loose from the alternative media where it was once confined. Notice that I said rulers and not governors. Thousands of unelected rulers are ruining and running every aspect of your existence under the orders of a single global power that believes this world belongs to them. Democracy actually promotes only carnage and chaos, endless, inconclusive interventions, war profiteering, terrorism, and intense hatred of the American people and its government around the world. That is why America was founded as a republic. Donald Trump questioned those repeated failures, and that provided his margin of victory in 2016. That's why we defeated the globalist syndicate. To this day, nobody can explain the logic behind the bailouts during the last financial crisis and what ensued. The world's central banks monetized massive government debt. It doubled it and pushed the interest rates below zero. The high and mighty pretend this is all normal. But for normal people, buying a bond with a guaranteed loss is totally insane. Microscopic rates force them, against their better judgment, into a stock market that's crashed twice since the turn of the century, decimating their savings. And now it sits at a historically sky-high overvaluations. You don't believe me? Who thinks it is smart to buy a stock that is selling at 200 times the earnings of that company? Tesla is just such a stock. This is the investment landscape you're supposed to embrace. Lose money or put it on the pass line and hope the Wall Street roll of the dice doesn't once again come up craps. Keep spending money you don't have, and eventually you're gonna go broke. Keep making promises you can't fulfill, and inevitably you will not be able to keep any of them, including your own marriage. There are hundreds of trillions of dollars worth of claims on a future out there that has zero chance of ever being redeemed. Yet the pile continues to grow every single second of every single day. The mathematical outcome is as straightforward and devastating as playing Russian roulette with a bullet in every single chamber. Car loans, college tuition loans, credit cards, practically worthless medical insurance stands in a long line of industries that malevolence masked as good intentions has destroyed. America was founded on self-reliance, but this is everything but that. Medical care is affordable, and it's available to everybody in America, everyone. But we are told over and over again that insurance is medical care. That is nonsense. Medical care is medical care. And if it's paid for as you go out of pocket, it costs a tiny fraction of insurance. It's a massive disinformation campaign that nearly everyone has fallen a victim to. Americans are watching their cherished country sliced to pieces by bureaucrats and greedy politicians who only care about themselves. The average middle schooler can see that the Green New Deal will pound the economy to a shuddering stop and plunge everyone so far into poverty that the globalists will have no problem taking possession of every single piece of private property for nothing. Why do you think that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is given so much free press time, second only to President Donald Trump? Because the globalist syndicate knows that a minority woman who looks great on camera, as long as they don't let her speak too much, makes a socially acceptable contrast to a massively popular President Trump. The middle class has always aspired to better things. The American dream. You take away middle class dreams, and you may well be taking away the last thing that keeps them paying their taxes, observing the law, supporting the troops and police, in short, everything that from the vantage point of the ruling class keeps them in line. What began as a gentle squeeze a century ago has become a python-like constriction. The agency government has drained economic vitality and shuttered opportunity as the once politically stable, prosperous, and optimistic middle class dwindles. A few still reach the upper echelon, but most are consigned to creeping poverty, numbing the pain of failure with alcohol, opioids, and what the Romans call bread and games. It's only going to get worse as the debt grows. Massive unfunded pension liabilities come due, interest rates rise, economies shrink, and promises are finally broken. The ruling class is at full-scale civil war with the middle class. They are attacking them with poverty, aristocratic arrogance, and a global condescension through a members-only isolation add to the combustibility of the current social construct. They don't care that this same social construct includes their own neighborhoods. They don't even recognize the danger of telling us the governments they control or the global ones they want to create is the solution to all the problems. Who's gonna get the blame when things fall apart? Well, you will, of course, for not working hard enough, or for being a racist, or for being a homophobe. Combine the ruling class's failing policies, their looming insolvency with the rising awareness via the alternative media like Truth Frequency Radio, like X Squared Radio. On the side of the forming battlefield is the hypocrisy and shameless corruption and political polarization of the globalist syndicate. On the other side is the armed American. What happens when the globalist syndicate tries to foreclose on every piece of private property like they have the forests, the water, and the energy to pay for their own excesses? What happens when the black uniforms with badges come to evict you from your home or your farm because they have run out of money? Disaffection is a battalion. Righteous moral certainty is an invincible army. And the latter has moved the world, and it will do so again. You mark my words. Victor Hugo said that nothing is as powerful as an idea whose time has come. Well, here's an idea so powerful, yet so simple, it fits on a bumper sticker. You ready? 2019 is the year of light. Crank it up. All right, let's see what we can do about bringing Suzanne Ross on the program right now. Let me see if I can do this. I know I can do this. All right, here we go. We pull this up here, and then we're going to go up here, and we're going to hit the plus sign, and we're going to slide over here and click on Suzanne, and right there, and done. And we'll see what happens. Let me see if I can just drag it in there. This Skype is changing every single week. Just give me a second. It's not that easy to do. You think it is, but it isn't. All right, here we go. Oh, how about we go back to our call? There we go. Now we'll do this. And add. Watch this. Watch this work. Suzanne, are you there? I think she's there. Suzanne, are you there? Oh, says unavailable. Well, we'll try it again in a minute. I want to bring one other thing in here, and that is Trump's Space Force. You know that the budget is about to be submitted, and there's $8.6 billion in there for a wall, but there's also money in there for the Space Force. He plans to stick with the strict spending caps imposed years ago. He'll be seeking $750 billion for defense while cutting non-defense discretionary funding or spending by 5%. Budgets are mainly seen as the blueprints for White House priorities, but they are often panned on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers craft the appropriation bills that eventually fund the government. His bill for 2020 is more than likely going to lead to another government shutdown. You should be ready for that. If you are working for the government, I'm sorry, but if you're working for the government, you probably need to put a couple of paychecks back, because this may end up in another government shutdown, just because that's the way the government likes to do things. Well, that's the way the Democrats like to operate. Let's see if we can try her one more time. We're calling Suzanne again. I think she answered. Are you there, Suzanne? Nope, still says unavailable. Well, we'll just try back a couple of minutes later. That's the way it goes here. Let me look up here and see if we have in my call board. Oh, we don't have Julian on yet, but Julian should be coming on in about 15 minutes. I think you're really going to enjoy this. This is neoclassical music. It's one of my favorite genres anyway, but you'll see why when we play it. It's not really music. It's more of an experience, and I think you'll enjoy it. By the way, history was made this week. Again, the space flight landscape has changed one more time. SpaceX's Crew Dragon capsule aced its first mission to the International Space Station, wrapping up the 6-day flight on March 8th. Aside from an instrument-laden dummy named Ripley, Crew Dragon didn't carry any passengers on the flight, but it could have. It's known as a demo, but the success of the shakeout cruise suggests this is a huge milestone for everybody, because the capsule landed intact. Canadian Space Agency astronaut David St. Jacques said Wednesday, "It is quite a privilege to be here for these historic days." I'm sorry, that's what he said. He said, "This is really the opening of a new era." I believe that too, because we no longer have to use the old use it and throw it away method. We get everything back. To appreciate the new era, we first must make brief stock of the old one. American astronauts haven't been launched to orbit aboard a homegrown spacecraft since July of 2011, when Obama ended the program. Ever since then, the United States and every other nation that sends people to and from the ISS is dependent upon the Russians. Isn't that Russian collusion? That's got to be Russian collusion. We're colluding with the Russians to go to space. Anyway, the Soyuz sports 3 seats, each of which currently sells for about $80 million. That's quite the ride. Ever since then, the United States and every other nation that sends people to and from the ISS has been relegated to using that system. The reliance on Russia was always supposed to be temporary, a sort of, stopgap until private American vehicles became available. And then in 2014, NASA inked commercial crew deals with 2 American companies. One was SpaceX. They got $2.6 billion to develop the Crew Dragon, which flew today, and Boeing, right? And they received $4.2 billion to work on its the CST-100. And at the time, of course, NASA officials said they hoped that one or both of these capsules would be operational by the end of 2017, and that timeline has been pushed back, of course, a couple of times. But with Demo 1 of the Crew Dragon in the books, the goal is now in sight for SpaceX. And the company could be there this year. Believe it or not, they're on schedule. A launch abort test, which will demonstrate Crew Dragon's emergency escape system, is planned for the June timeframe. If that goes well, a crewed demonstration flight to the ISS called Demo 2 will occur probably by July, if things work out, weather cooperating. Contracted missions for NASA, each of which will carry 4 astronauts, will follow sometime thereafter. Boeing's target schedule is similar. The Starliner's uncrewed test flight to the ISS, abort test, and crewed ISS test flight could occur in April, May, and August. So it's going to be an amazing year in space, and we really, really want to be part of it, because I think space is just cool. There's so many great spin-offs from that, so many great benefits to mankind. All that technology spins off to us. Let's try Suzanne one more time, see if she'll join us. Skype is calling her. I think Sedona's getting quite busy. We have this Beyond the Matrix Expo that's coming up, and a lot going on, a lot of things to take care of. So still not available. We'll just keep trying it. Getting Crew Dragon and Starliner online is going to do a lot. The private spacecraft and other recent innovations, such as routinely reflown rockets. You ever seen those rockets come back down and land on the pad? First time I saw it, it looked animated to me. It looked like something out of Flash Gordon, but it's real. It really is amazing to watch these things, boost the spacecraft into space, and then the booster comes right down and lands on the pad. It's fantastic. I like it. I want to watch one. I'm going to go down there and watch one of the launches and film it going up and film it come back. It only takes about an hour, the whole thing. You know who Jim Bridenstine is, right? He's the administrator for NASA, which we don't really trust NASA. They're kind of a disinformation service between what goes on in space and what the public gets to see. But he said yesterday in a webcast just after the Crew Dragon splashdown, the result, he predicted, will be the emergence of a robust commercial marketplace in which NASA is just one of many customers for vehicles such as Crew Dragon. I think it's just cool. It sounds like an anime series, Crew Dragon. It's just neat. Not everyone views Demo 1 as such a transformative event, however. It's, in the world of space travel, it's a little status quo. But space policy expert John Logsdon, for example, sees the mission as symbolically very exciting because it's a necessary first step to restoration of the U.S. human spaceflight capability. But Crew Dragon, isn't doing anything particularly new, using parachutes to splash down. We were doing that 50 years ago. And that was after trips to the moon, not just the International Space Station. And Logsdon doesn't see Crew Dragon as truly commercial vehicle because it was developed and flies only with NASA funding. So, in a way, I kind of agree with him. If there really is a secret space program out there, shh, it's secret. Then, maybe we'll share that with the public in the near future. Let me try Suzanne one more time, see if she'll join us. And then we'll bring Julian Forrest on. He is, I think, sitting on the phone right now. So if we can't raise her, we'll bring him on. All right. Well, he is not there. Let's see if we can bring Julian on. Let's see if this is Julian. Hi, this is Brooks Agnew with X Squared Radio. Is this Julian Forrest?
No, it's not.
Ah, you're just calling and listening, or are you calling to ask a question?
Oh, well, maybe a question. Yeah, did you ever read the Book of Enoch, and do you know why it's been removed from the Bible?
Yes, I know the answer to both of those questions. I have read the Book of Enoch. It was originally recovered in Slavonic. It was translated into English in the early 1800s. Thomas Jefferson had a copy of it in his library. It was removed by the Council of Nicaea in 310, claiming that it was a fable. But in reality, what it did is took away from the mysticism and the spiritualism of the church, and it made the relationship between God and man too familiar for the church. So they took it out in order to keep man ignorant of the relationship between man and God and how angels and giants got involved with that.
Okay.
I found the book fascinating.
Well, I don't want to train wreck your show, so I won't comment on ancient cosmology. But what I would like to say is that Nikola Tesla is the most brilliant genius in humanity's history, and he totally demolished the theory of relativity. So gravity is just devil's crap. Heliocentrism equals satanism. So I don't believe in space at all.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. I'm a scientist, so I don't believe in anything. But all the evidence that I have says that space exists, and we're orbiting around a main sequence sun in the Milky Way galaxy in a cluster of supergalaxies. So that's what my evidence and data shows me. I don't have any data to the contrary, but you can believe what you want to believe. I have no problem with that.
Oh, it's not a matter of belief. I mean, the idea that we live on a ball and there's balls in space, and that stars are balls of planet billions of light years away from here is the biggest lies in history. So I don't think your show has a place on Truth Frequency Radio.
Well, I appreciate your comment more than you know. It's not a problem. But by the way, it's not an idea. It's real. And, well, you'll find out soon enough. In the meantime, have a good night. All right, so let's see if we can bring Suzanne on again and see if she will join the program. I think she's standing by. This should be a great program. Here we go. Let's see what happens. And I think she's there. Says she's calling, and she's joined. Welcome to the program. So good to have you.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Brooks. It's great to be back here on a beautiful Sunday evening. Really nice weekend here. How about you?
Sundays are just amazing, especially when you're able to join us. Suzanne Ross is the organizer of the Beyond the Matrix event that's going to be taking place the 19th and 20th in Sedona, and it's going to be fantastic, and we would love for all of you to be there. If you can't be there, don't worry about it. We're not going to make fun of you. Not for very long anyway. Because you can join us anyway by clicking on the live streaming option at xsquaredradio.com. Click on the events tab on the left-hand side. Click register. $77 for both days. Come on, that's dinner for 3 at the Chinese restaurant. You could do this, and you will have an amazing time with us. I'm right, aren't I?
Yeah, you said it. Come one, come all to the Red Rock paradise of Sedona, Arizona.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.